Sweeping in particular is there to enable the development of innovative new propositions to help customers save, to make their money work harder, or to lower the cost of their borrowing. So sweeping is the automated movement of funds between money in accounts in the name of the same legal entity. So me-to-me payments, me-to-me movement of money. And they said, what's the best way to do that? So the first thing we did is we looked at existing ways to move money between a customer's own accounts. The two obvious examples that have been mentioned, direct debits and cards, do work, and there is sweeping in the market today, but they're not as good as we found as variable recurring payments would be. But we had to prove that for the CMA. And the second thing we had to prove to the CMA essentially is that we could implement and ask for sweeping, VRPs for sweeping to be implemented by the CMA 9, and that would improve competition in those markets I talked about. And we did that to the CMA's satisfaction. And of course, they've made their decision for the CMA 9 to implement VRPs, but just for sweeping.
There's so many potential benefits for consumers from both sweeping, but also kind of wider use cases around VRP. And it literally boils down to kind of just the generic principles of like PSD2 and open banking, that it's providing more security for consumers. It's also allowing it to be easier for consumers. And it's like, and especially VRP, the beauty of it is that it's not actually revolutionary. We're just making it better. So like, VRP is very similar. So like, as Alan already touched on, you have it direct debit. There's also other use cases where you compete with card on file. These are things that we as consumers never really think about. Like, when was the last time you actually thought about your direct debit payments? Maybe when you're looking on your mobile app and you see that, okay, my mobile contract bill went out, great, but you never actually think about it. So the real benefit to a consumer is that we're actually now able to provide an open banking product where they don't have to actively sit there and think about every single payment that they actually need to make. So that is kind of, as we see it, one of the biggest benefits of VRP is that while yes, the consumer is still in control, they're being put back at the heart of the payment, they're not sitting there for every single transaction anymore, and they can kind of just let it happen in the background and go about their daily lives.
I think from the sweeping point of view, it does create better journeys for customers. I don't think it's going to revolutionize savings and investments and being able to avoid overdraft fees, etc. But it is going to make that far more accessible and make that far more of a consumer-friendly journey. But for me, the real excitement is what you can do in the payment space and how VRP starts to not just tackle direct debits and standing orders, e-commerce, but card on file payments, kind of new payment use cases. So kind of example I use is you take a car parking one. When you go and park your car as part of commuting on a daily basis, and you just set up a VRP just to go and take the money out of the account, reads your car number plate, and debits £3 a day up to a maximum limit you set, and it's all automated for you. And you have the control and knowing how much the final amount is, and you've controlled over what time period, etc. But if you start to think around how that kind of use case can be applied to all kinds of different payment scenarios, and the same as subscription payments, I think is really exciting as well. You can see how VRP can potentially replace a lot of subscriptions via card on file, direct debit, or standing order.